Welcome back on this marvelous Tuesday. Welcome to our show. I'm calling it a show because it's more than a podcast. If y'all been listening via audio, y'all can recognize that this is a show that we're giving y'all every Tuesday. Childish Grownups rewatching childhood films with a twist. Doing this podcast makes us Stoop Kids leave the stoop so y'all can meet us outside at home base to discuss films. Now it's cold outside, so we might have to just hit each other up on a landline, or we might have to, you know what I'm saying? We might have to email each other, or we might have to get in one of those AOL chats right now, you know, because it's getting pretty cold out there. But I'm not alone. I'm Maurice Hunt III. Y'all know me, but y'all also know my co-hosts Ash Bash and Mia G. How you ladies doing?
I'm feeling good, bro.
Good. We are getting into the Christmas spirit. It's the coldness kind of complements that feeling, you know, so no complaints. But before we get into today's film and, you know, our segment with Ash, Childish Grownups moment. So, Mia, I'm going to throw the ball in your court first. You got a Childish Grownup moment this week?
So, as you know, my daughter was really into Hamilton. Then I took her to see Wicked. So now our little sing-alongs have gone from Hamilton soundtrack, now it's Wicked. And so now, instead of being Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton, she's Elphaba, I'm Glinda, and we're still having our sing-alongs every day. You know, she's wearing me out with the Wicked soundtrack.
How old is she again?
She's 7.
Oh yeah, she's locked in. Yeah, she's locked in. What's the go-to record?
So for her right now, it's Defying Gravity is number 1. Then she'll go to Popular, and then there's a song on the soundtrack called What Is This Feeling? She has like a Glinda nightgown she struts around the house in now.
Wow. Did you get that after the film, or was that before?
No, she got it literally the day that we took her. My bestie, her godmom, got it for her and brought it to the movie theater to surprise her.
At the theater, wow.
She came with a whole bag of goodies in the theater, and so now she struts around like, "Hello, my fellow Aussians."
Friends, how many of us have them?
Right.
Wow. Okay, that's dope. What about you, Ash Bash?
Nothing for me this week. Nothing that I can think of. Just was a pretty normal weekend, so nothing kind of stood out for me this week. So
I had a couple of moments. One, I was acting like a little kid this week. Over the weekend, we went to Taco Bell. If y'all have been to Taco Bell, y'all know that they're doing the eras, I think the decades. They're doing the thing. So I was very excited when they gave me this cup. For those on YouTube, y'all can see this. You don't understand how hyped I was when I got this cup. I said, yo, the nostalgia is in effect, baby. It was so cheesy, but I was like, yo, I got I thought this was the 90s. This is like actually the 80s edition, but still, we'll take that. It's still welcomed here. So that's my one. And then my other was we were at Publix, and they had a stand of like, free samples, trying out food, how. And they didn't have nobody there. They just had a stand there, and they just had like chicken and rice on plates and little spoons on the side. I said, whoa, hold up.
What?
Man, shout out to the Asians, you know what I'm saying? Asian community, because when we used to go to the mall, them that ran those Chinese restaurants, like, dedication, like, hey, you want to try a sample the toothpick, little bourbon chicken, teriyakis, like, bro, we might not mess around and get full off of that. We mess around, be like, okay, I get another. We walk all the way around, act like we ain't been there. And so it just brought me back to like, I was like, damn, we doing this now? Nobody's here? I say nobody's gonna eat this. Like, there's no trust. I need a body behind these samples. They're not even like in containers. They're on like a little mini plate. I'm like, ain't nobody about to eat this chicken and rice off of off this plate, man. So yeah, those two was like kind of my Childish Grownups moments. For those that couldn't see, the Taco Bell cup is like one of the nostalgic cups, those that are just listening to the audio. So but yeah, those are Childish Grownups moments this week. If y'all want to hit us up with childish grown-ups, moment of the week. You don't have to be a parent to have these moments. You just could be a whole adult having a child moment, a child thought, or reminiscing. So y'all can always hit us up, childishgrownups3@gmail.com, or leave a comment on YouTube. Y'all can hit us up on Instagram. Just send us one of those moments. We will read it on air. So Ash, we got some Stoop Kids out there. We got anybody showing love out there?
We do. We have the biggest Stoop Kid on our Preacher's Wife episode. Said that she loves our podcast. Mia G, you want to tell everybody who that was?
That was my mommy.
My mommy. Yo, shout out to moms. So real quick, before we get into that, like, how does she know about the pod? Did you just bring up whatever you're doing, or how do you feel about like letting them in on that?
She follows me, of course, on all my social media, and so I promote on my Instagram and my Facebook simultaneously, and she's like, so I don't think I actually like told her, but she was asking me about the pot, like my old episodes that I did of the Culture Garden, and I was like, hey, I might need you to watch the kids when I record one night. And she was like, oh, for that same podcast? I was like, no, the new one that I'm doing every Sunday, we record every Sunday. And she was like, what? No, let me start watching. I gotta watch and I gotta listen. I gotta get all caught up. So she's been texting me after every episode, letting me know like what she thinks.
Dang, your mom's with it. Like she's hip to the tech. Like she know how to navigate the links and everything.
She gets me hip to podcasts too.
Whoa, time out now. All right, hold on, moms. Mom's educating you now?
She hit me to one of my faves.
You say what?
She hit me to one of my favorite podcasts.
Oh, wow. We're going to have her on here one day. We're going to have her on for one of these episodes.
Would love that, I'm sure.
Yeah, talk about a film that, she loves that we might happen to love too, man. How does that feel? Does it are you just used to this, or is this like unfamiliar territory as far as that level of support?
Oh no, my mom, she supports everything I do. So
she's heard your Culture Garden episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man,
that's beautiful.
Oh man, that's
the support is here. Shout out to Mama G.
Shout out to Mama G. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Mama G, man.
Yeah.
Tell her to give us 5 stars on that podcast.
Yeah, you know how to navigate it. You know what I
mean? I will. I'm sure she hasn't already.
But. Yeah, hit us with the 5 for real. Now that's dope. Thank you for listening to our pod and supporting, and the original, Childish Grownups, showing us how it's done. Continue supporting their children as we're trying to do with ours. So that is wonderful. And again, y'all, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Come out here and support us. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So yeah, did Nar got to hit us up this week? Okay, I was about to bring him up, but I don't think he hit us up this week. But I know he'll be tapped in. All right, I think that's it. Unless there's anybody else got anything somebody hits you on the side with, but
I was gonna shout out the hubby. He watches all the movies with me.
Cool.
He did that. I didn't even realize like he's watching every movie with me, because he'll remind me like, hey, don't forget you got to do your review. I'm like, I forgot, but he really want to watch it with me. So it's like we'll just sit on the couch and we'll watch it together. And then Anthony might come in, and he in and out, of course, but. Mm-hmm. But yeah, shout out to the hubs, man. Be watching it with me.
We're gonna have to have him on too, because like the fact that he's at that level where he's trying to he's like personal assistant status.
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna get him on for one of his favorite films back then too, for sure.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Well, cool. Ash, give it to us.
Well, y'all see the mic. You know what time it is. Flash with Ash. Get us warmed up. You know what I mean? Get the juices flowing. I think I'm gonna have y'all stumped this episode, so we're gonna see. We're gonna start off with a fun fact for our boy Arnold Schwarzenegger. Just a quick fun fact: he went AWOL from the Australian Army to enter his first bodybuilding contest. So I thought that was interesting.
Oh.
I would like to know some more details about that. Like how you get that off.
I don't know that when they go AWOL, I'll be like, of course they're gonna find out that you're gone, but what's the consequences for that? You know what I mean? Like, are you out of there permanently, or what does
Yeah,
that look like?
yeah. Is that a crime? You know what I mean? Like,
It sure
Yeah.
ain't here.
Well, it's Australia too, so who knows how it is over there.
Mm.
I just think of this Christmas when Columbus Short went AWOL, and he
mhm.
was trying to, be with his lady.
Yeah.
I promised her, but anyway. Yeah, that was a quick fun fact. So let's get into this trivia real quick.
Okay.
We taking it up a little bit, you know what I mean, on the grownish side. First one, what caused? This is from Moesha. Okay.
Oh damn.
Yeah, y'all better be ready because this is over
Come
with.
on, Mia. Please help.
What caused Moesha and Hakeem to break up?
Ooh, okay. I think I know, but I can't. I don't want to say, I don't want to be wrong. Like, do we have
No multiple choice.
Oh, we killing this.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Deep cut.
Ugh. Well, I don't want to go with some typical like cheating type of thing.
was she still in love with Q?
Nope.
Okay, let me take a stab real quick then. Was he doing something like illegal that she didn't agree with and kept doing it and got caught or something?
No.
Okay. Yeah,
You
got
put
it
that on my boy Hakeem like that. What's up?
You know how they be like,
She-
hey man, we could do this, man, we could do this thing, get some money for the, sitcoms.
That would be wrong, brother, man.
All right.
She caught him kissing Niecy. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Oh.
Niecy's
Vaguely.
boyfriend had just broke up with her and said he wanted to see other people. So she was in that vulnerable state and he was, had a shoulder to cry on. And she walked in on him kissing. And it was over with.
Dang. I mean, damn, bro.
My
You know,
hope?
don't get me wrong.
know.
Niecy was
Yeah.
slept on. I'm gonna put that out there. She was definitely slept on.
Shar Jackson.
Yeah, she was slept on, dog. But come on, dog. We got to move better. Ah, dang. Do you?
Yeah,
do,
I'm not
are you?
playing with y'all.
Nah. Are y'all avid? Are y'all avid watchers of Moesha still, or was y'all into it? Or?
I was, but I haven't gone back and rewatched in a long, long time.
Okay.
Yeah, I was definitely avid for sure. I love that show.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it. I always got mixed feelings how I remember it, so I need to be sure on what I think I remember. So I'm definitely gonna try to. We might have something special for y'all, with a little special, a little special samplers that we may serve y'all throughout, the week. Something different outside of that, just tapping into the more television side of this thing we do. But y'all stay tuned.
Okay. All right. So we coming into the second one. Like I said, I'm not playing. So y'all gotta, strap your boots up. This is from the show Girlfriends. Okay.
She's
What
like,
was
I got
this is easy. Y'all should know this. All right. What was the final reason that made Joan decide not to marry Brock and break up with him completely? I know y'all know this.
Yep, got this.
Okay.
He did not want kids.
Yep, I agree.
That is correct.
Come on, man. Huh?
Ooh.
Come on, man.
Man, she thought she had a one, but that right there, it's either you do or you don't.
Who gonna tell her? Who gonna tell her?
I really liked them two together too. Like they
Yeah,
were a
too.
good match. I never really bought into her and the actor dude like that when she was back and forth. Ellis, he just was a little too. I mean, she was corny, but he was just even more corny. Like it was like too far. Like anyway, but yeah, okay.
All right. Last one for y'all. Who was the first Rugrat to get chickenpox?
Chucky?
That's what I'm leaning towards. It's like I'm thinking Chucky or Angela. I'm gonna lean on Chucky as well.
That is correct. Chucky was the first.
We made it through 2 out of 3, Mia. Made it through there. She put us through the ringer on this one, boy. Oh, I feel the heat.
Good
Let me turn my
job.
fan back on. Goodness gracious. Flash with Ash is going crazy.
Hey man, that's what we're here to do.
Dang, all right. You know what I mean? That was pretty intense. I felt like we was in the interrogation
She was
room.
like, no multiple choice. What's going on?
Yeah, nah, straight. That was good.
Straight hood. That was
You
fun.
know how I like it, baby. Just do the damn thing. All right. Well, it's that time. So, Mia G, I need you to do me a favor. Can you pull that lever and take us back? Let's do it.
Ooh, okay. So today we are going to be talking about one thing. Was this movie released in 1996?
That's what I said last week. I thought it was. Did I get that wrong? If I did, let me correct myself.
Because through my research, I think I had 1990. So I'm gonna go with 1990.
Through your research, you got, I mean, when you type it in on Google, it says PG 1996.
Let me see.
IMDb says 1996.
Yeah, that's what I
Maybe
see.
there
too.
might have been another version of this type of movie that had the same title, possibly.
Or very possible that I just typed it wrong as well.
They hit you with the T9.
Like I was saying,
Okay.
we're going to be talking about the 1996 film Jingle All the Way. Quick synopsis: a father vows to get his son a Turbo Man action figure for Christmas. However, every store is sold out and he must travel all over town and compete with everybody else in order to find one. And this movie was released November 22nd, 1990, right in time for the 1996. Right in time for the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
For cast, we have Arnold Schwarzenegger as Howard. We have Sinbad as Myron Larrabee. Rita Wilson, shout out to Rita Wilson, I love her, as Liz. Phil Hartman as Ted. Jake Lloyd as Little Jamie. Cameo by Jim Belushi as the Mall Santa. We have Daniel Reardon as Turbo Man and Robert Conrad as Officer Hummel. That's all notable cast.
Mm.
So there was actually some merchandise for this. There was an actual Turbo Man action figure released by the companies Funko and the company Tiger. And then Funko also released a Turbo Man card game that was called Jingle All The Way is Turbo Time.
Mm.
And you can still look those up. You can find Turbo Man dolls on like Amazon and eBay.
They must be stupid. They got to be
I
stupid.
think I saw one for like $96 or something.
Oh, 96? Oh, nah, I might have to mess around. Find out.
One like that Lion King, that 600 boy for that.
Nah, I need that. I need to put that on the shelf. That you talk about Elf on the shelf. I need that Turbo Man on the shelf. All right. Well, thank you, Mia, for that. That is interesting. I had no idea. I always wondered if they released the real toy. So I'll definitely be checking that out after we get done with this. So as we rewind a little bit, Ash, how do you remember this film back then? We don't have to necessarily remember your earliest memory of it, but more so, how do you remember it as a kid watching it, stuff that you remember clear as day before you watched it and enjoyed or didn't enjoy, or well, how do you remember this as a little kid watching this Christmas film?
I remember being excited for it. I thought it was cool. It's nestled safely under our tree. That's the first thing I think about when I think of this movie. Like I'm just repeating that. I remember it being a staple in our house because I know it's just one of our favorites. I just remember being really young watching it, and then I felt like at daycare at some point this was played too. Um, it's kind of vague as far as but I just remember it being a favorite of mine, and it's just a happy spirited movie, good energy, and it's out the gate. You know what I mean? It's not really a build up; it's straight to it. So I remember it just being, being great.
Okay, nah, fair enough. What about you, Meg G? How you remember this?
So of course, as always, I don't remember like my first experience, but I do remember that I loved this movie as a kid. I was always a huge like Sinbad fan when I was little. And I remember thinking this movie was extremely funny. It definitely is the 90s trope,
Mhm.
but it works so well
Mhm.
for this film. Like it's so funny. Like rewatching it, because I hadn't seen it in a really long time. I just was like, oh my goodness, I forgot how funny this movie is. It's just so many little like stupid funny moments. And Sinbad is hilarious in
Oh
this.
man. I definitely, like Ash said, it was a staple. As a kid, you know, you have your Home Alones, you know what I'm saying, your Santa Clauses, Preacher Wife, Elf, so on and so forth. But this is one of those that always stuck with me. Like it's so like action packed for it to be a comedy at the same time. As a kid watching this and how adventurous it felt, then just going on this journey with Howard. And then just Arnold Schwarzenegger, what he meant to us. Of course, he meant a lot in the '80s, but even going into the '90s as well. Just that whole thing and him being an everyday father. I remember, like, in my head, I'm like, man, he can whoop everybody. Like, you know what I mean? This is Terminator. This is action star. But uh that, of course, Phil Hartman, like, just playing the shady. Like, I remember that, like, I as a kid didn't fully understand. I mean, you knew enough to say, okay, he's out of line. As a kid, you're like, man, you doing too much. Like, that's not your girl. Like, and then just Sinbad. Like, don't even get me started on Sinbad. Goodness gracious. So I just remember this movie. It always just managed to find its way to these eyes. That's all I remember. Like, it always found a way. If it was daycare, we was at aunt or uncle's house, or our house, or a marathon of Christmas movies was coming on. Back when we had cable. No streaming, y'all. Like regular cable. Like coming on at 3 o'clock. Jingle All The Way. Like, oh yes, yes. You looking at the clock? It's 1:30. Okay, cool. I could catch the whole movie. You know what I mean? Commercials and all. I'm about to catch Jingle All The Way at 3 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? On Hallmark or whatever. So yeah. So let's have a discussion about this film, because there's a few things that I wanted to ask and kind of get a temperature gauge for this film, and just see what y'all was thinking about some things that I had noticed. I'm sure y'all noticed as well. My first question. What was it? You about to say something?
No, just say, okay, let's do
Okay.
it.
All right. So my first question I want to ask y'all is, how do y'all think Arnold did in this comedic role? I mean, he's got comedic films that he's been a part of, after this, probably even before this. But what did y'all think about him in this comedic role? He wasn't fully the straight guy. There was obviously some pieces he had to carry on for his own personal comedic shop. So, Mia, I go with you first.
I think he did great. I think there's a quality to Arnold that is he plays funny so well, because it's like he's right in this little pocket where he's not really trying to be funny, but like he's in these situations that cause him to have to do like all types of like he's really good with physical comedy, which I wouldn't have thought, because he's like big. But he's got this charming quality where you like see him going through his little hijinks, like in the scene with the balls, the
Mm-hmm.
little and it's just like he's in the situations that call for him to be funny,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not like he's trying to be comedic in what
Mm-hmm.
he's doing or saying. It just is funny. He's got a naturally funny quality.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did great. I love all of his comedic roles.
Mm. What say you, Ash?
I agree. I think the physicality helps with his comedy, and he is so muscle bound. So I think people would typically think he'll be in more roles that are like action and not necessarily kid friendly, but he plays those so well. Like when he has roles with children, it comes off really, really good. And
Mm-hmm.
because he is so big, but he's so soft at the same time, it comes out on screen really well. So yeah, I think he did good. And then of course that accent can also add
Oh,
some humor
absolutely.
to certain things that he said. So Even him with him in the balls trying to get that little girl. Like, it was just funny. The physicality plays a big part.
Yeah, it is kind of like not laughing with him, we're laughing at him. You know what I mean? And that's the job is well done. For the same thing y'all said, it's the little like things like you said, the accent, like when he's talking to Jamie, he's like, ooh, look at this belt, it's cool. Like the way he says it, it's like even just say it cool. Like it's just it sounds funny. Oh, poor baby. Like, you know, that thing, or when he got the little race car track and he's like got the shoulders into it. Like I'm like, bro, you're supposed to be getting the doll. Why are you having fun right now? And you know, just everything is like, no, I'm not trying to be sick. I'm trying to get my ball. Like all everything about, because it's like he believe the way Arnold carries it. It's like I don't know how they coached him up to bring the character alive, but it's like Howard believes that he's a serious person and he has it going on, and he's based, especially when we get into the intro of the movie, he believes he has it together, and he's so far from having it together. In the way Arnold carries that through the movie is so funny. Like he just like he's doing the reindeer thing, and you know, all of the stuff. I don't want to get in all the scenes, but yeah, it's all of those just the little subtleties. I got it first, you did it. Like I can't believe how funny he is, to be honest. Like you look at people like, you know, Sylvester Stallone. I don't know how funny he can be. I don't know how funny The Rock really can be, you know, has been. You know, I mean, we've seen him do some funny stuff. I think Central Intelligence, I felt like he carried that really well as far as being the big guy that actually is funny, you know.
The
But
Rock is funny to me.
I think he's really funny.
yeah, and I mean, it didn't even be cool. Like, come on, like that was really hilarious. Come on, don't be hating. Don't be hating. You participating. So but yeah, I mean, The Rock as well, like, you know, but still it's hard to make people forget you're this muscular guy, this action star, this, you know. So yeah, I think he did well as well for me in this comedic role. Ash, do you think Sinbad carried this movie, or you think it was a joint effort between them two?
I think it was a joint effort. I didn't watching it this time. I forgot how many parts he actually had. I'm like, oh, he's heavily in here. You know what I mean? Even all the way to the end. I'm like, goodness, I forgot about that. But I think it was a joint effort. I think they complemented each other well. He was a little more high strung, even though they're both trying to accomplish the same goal. So that kind of really it went well together.
What you think, Mia?
I have to agree. I think because his scenes were hilarious, but even the scenes he wasn't in, Arnold was still hilarious. And even Ted was hilarious in that
Oh man, absolutely.
way. So I think that it was a joint effort amongst all, but his scenes were definitely like bringing it up here, and then it stayed kind of like steadily funny, and he just kind of took it up.
Sinbad said, I agree with y'all. Like Sinbad, I don't know how much is improv, but oh my God.
I can imagine. A lot of this was probably improv on his part. Some of them things he was saying, I'm like, ain't no way somebody wrote that.
Nah, man, like just a box supposed to be a bomb and you're shaking the hell out of it. I told you you're supposed to. Like, bro, we'll get into when we get to the scenes of it all, but I want to ask, do y'all think that could anybody else have done this, that role that Sinbad played? Like, I'm not gonna say if it was a white guy. I don't know. I don't know. This is not really a black thing. I don't feel like it had to be a black character. I don't feel like it was, even though he had the, you know, certain lines like Rodney King. Like, you know, you got those lines in there, but it's not. This is not really about him being black. It's just he happens to be a black mailman. But do y'all think that there was any other comedian that could have brought this to the MYRON character in that time?
I have
That's a good question.
one person who I kind of think may have done a good job with this role in a different way. And that is like Faison Love. I think he probably would have been a funny.
Faison Love. Huh.
I'm gonna go left with it. Maybe Eddie Griffin. I don't know. I mean, obviously not, he's a little thinner and things like that, but I don't know. I can kind of see his humor potentially
I can see that.
fitting that type of role.
I can see that. I think he would have been too big for the role, but I would say I say like a Jim Carrey. I think Jim Carrey just being over the top, like being the nice guy, and then just doing his kind of over the top physical part of it all. Like I think he could definitely have done that. Like kind of try to be a charmer at first, and then just go fully. No, I mean obviously nobody could do what Sinbad did. It's like you can't really fully picture somebody else in that mailman costume doing those things, but it is a slightly different movie. But I mean, I can't tell. I wish I knew. Like, how did they come to Sinbad? Like, how did y'all pick him? Like, that is probably one of the things I'm so interested in.
Run around that time.
You say what?
He had a little run around that time.
Yeah. What was the first kid?
House Gas.
We were watching it the other day. We didn't even finish it. I was like, yo, I'm into this. I said, yo, this might be one of them ones we gotta throw on the maybe the fish out of water when we get into like movies that are like fish out of water type movies or whatever. But you're right. And maybe too, Sinbad's known for clean humor. Mm-hmm. And this being a Christmas family movie, maybe they knew that like he could nail it. And it makes me wonder, did they look for any other like necessarily maybe clean white comics or just it just makes me wonder. That's all. Like, it's such an interesting choice, and it's a perfect choice, and that's why that's just one of the things I harp on all day. But shout out to Culture Guard, man. Shout out to Rich. I know Rich should know something. Like, he always know. So I'm sure he'll probably hit us up and let us know when he finally gets to this episode. The Ted character. Ash, man, what do you feel about him in this plot of this movie?
I think he's insane. I mean, my boy is crossing every boundary that you could imagine. He's always around. And I had to remember, like, oh, him and his wife separated. Because I'm like, why is he always over here? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Of course, they're kids, friends, but still, like, you're always over here when Howard is gone. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's crossing all boundaries. Howard doesn't even like you, so you're not friends with her husband. So it's really just out of pocket.
Yeah.
It's out of pocket.
It's so far.
I could say so much more, but I'm trying to hold it.
You trying to hold it, yeah. Like, what do you feel about Ted, Mia, to the plot?
Listen, he is a habitual line stepper. Like, and I blame Liz too, because why is he here? He could drop little Johnny off and go back home. Like, why are you always in my house? Why are you constantly
put the lights up?
You're crossing so many boundaries. Like,
that is an interesting question. Like, Liz don't even come off like the type that would be falling for the shenanigans. Obviously, we'll see that later in the movie, but like, that is a great question. Like, why you let him around like that?
Because anyone with eyes could see like what type of time he was on. Like,
when he grabbed that apron.
Like, whoa, why are you taking my apron off?
Dog.
Yeah,
like, no, I'm not about to go get in the shower so you can fix these cookies. Get out.
Listen, bro.
I think she's in the shower. Want me to check?
Dude.
Like, what?
Well, for one, I think the Ted character and the actor that plays Ted, again, this casting was so perfect across the board, from the kid to the wife to the neighbor to the mailman to the husband. They casted, this is a perfectly casted film. The Ted character, I think, is super essential, and I'll speak to what I thought when I watched this versus now how I look at it. But super essential, and it's needed because it's driving the point home on the other side of the plot. You kind of need another thing to close those walls to create high stakes. And I guess I'll say this too, like in comparison to what we just did with Preacher's Wife. And of course, once we get to the end of the movie, we'll talk about how the high of it all. But they built the stakes, but the way they landed it to make it come back full circle as a joyful thing, it was light years ahead in comparison to like Preacher's Wife. When we talked about like it was kind of one note, and they build high stakes, but it kind of left us there. We didn't really feel like the stakes or anything was resolved. So, but like the Ted character, like honestly, bro, he like Mia said, funny, like so funny through this movie. Like my goodness, the dirty macking is real.
Extremely.
Goodness gracious, I seize you and I want you. Yeah, when you're watching this with your adult eyes, do y'all think more about the Howard and Jamie relationship, or the Howard and what's his wife's name? I didn't remember. Liz, or the Howard and Liz relationship?
That's a good question. I would say him and Jamie still. I was thinking like, wow, look at the trend of our movies right now, where typically like the wife is being neglected. The wife is being neglected. Doubtfire, Preacher Wife. So I'm like, dang, all right. The grownish boy, I tell you. But I think this one was more about Jamie and Howard, because she didn't seem. I mean, she was tired of him disappointing their son, but it didn't seem like there was a disconnect between husband and wife, other than like, bro, you got to stop breaking your promise. You know what I mean? So I would say Howard and Jamie. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. Like Ash said all the things that I was thinking. Like in this instance, it seems like Liz was more so disappointed with how Howard was disappointing Jamie. It was like she knew who her husband was, and she was kind of sick of how it was making her son feel. But you never got the sense that she felt neglected, because even she was ignoring all of Ted's advances. It never seemed like she needed anything that she wasn't getting. More so that show up for your son, because these moments for him are important. If you're disappointing him, it was never so much like, I need your help or I need you to do this for me. Even it was more so like, for our son, like, why you quit disappointing my son.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I remember watching it before. I definitely thought about the son aspect, but as a kid, I really thought like genuine, like their marriage was in trouble, you know, just because how far Liz was allowing things. Like, this man is on the roof, you know, this man is baking cookies, he's taking aprons off of you, you know what I'm saying? He's making non-alcoholic eggnog for, you know. And so, but anyway, yeah, y'all hit it on all those reasons. Did y'all find it interesting, nostalgic, that he's looking for the Turbo Man doll, and like how that was the thing? Like, there was no Amazon. Like, you had to be inconvenienced and physically drive to find the thing. Ain't that? I don't know. I just found that's just something I wanted to say. Like, I just found that really interesting. Like, wow.
Yeah.
I have that in my notes actually, about things have changed so much. Like, there isn't, for one, kids don't care as much about toys anymore. They're not watching TV the same. They're not seeing commercials. So there isn't this crazy demand for that, like the thing, the toy that everybody wants, because they might see like YouTube ads or whatever while they're watching their little videos, you know, if your child watches YouTube. But there aren't like, there's no big wave or craze or, you know, Black Friday, where you used to go when, like, it used to be insane, like in store, or Christmas Eve, you go out to the mall and it's packed because everybody's doing last minute this and that. Now everything is online, and these kids care more about like devices and
yeah.
Robux and stuff like that.
Exactly. VH points or whatever they call them.
V-Bucks.
V-Bucks, yeah, all that.
So it was crazy to see that. It was very nostalgic, because I'm like, wow, times have changed.
It has. I would agree. Everything's online based. it kind of makes me sad though. Like kids are not into TV like we were.
Yeah.
I'd be like, Anthony, will you please like watch Fairy Odd Parents, bro? Like I'll
Yeah.
put it on, walk out, come back, he's on YouTube. Like I'm like, you didn't even give it a shot. Like just watch this 30-minute show, please, and tell me what you think. And he just he
All
switches
you
it
got to do
off.
is just tell them like, if you don't watch this, you can't watch YouTube. I bet you
Like
that's the
and
quickest.
tell me about the episode too, because I want you to be engaged in
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I also noticed no cell phones. My
Mhm.
boy was calling home on the payphones. I'm like, I have a cell phone.
See,
Thought that was crazy.
and that's a good point, and that's the only reason you can float like, bruh. That's the only reason you can get stuff off like that, where
Mhm.
it's Christmas Eve and you can be gone almost all day. You know, at least all morning, going into early afternoon. I imagine is because you don't know where I'm at and you can't reach me.
No location sharing.
That
No,
kind of works because you
where
know
are
if you
you?
like listen, when you're like you're on a mission trying to get something accomplished, and like it may take a little longer than you intend, you know a text message is coming. How long you think you're gonna be? Like if you can't get reached, you're like, hey, they just gonna have to see me when I get there. Like, you know, especially if you ain't got no beeper. You know what I mean? You can't beat me, then I gotta find a payphone.
911.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like that was good. That was good. My last thing, and we can get into our scenes, is another statement that I just wanted to put out there, and I wonder if y'all relate. But I did enjoy the fact that when you think you're the worst parent sometimes, or you just think you're a bad parent, you have your moments like, I'm not a good mother, I'm not a good father. And you get moments like these where it's Christmas Eve and all of these parents are still trying to get a gift, specifically a Turbo Man doll for their kid. It just really brings it together and be like, I'm not alone. Other parents get it wrong too. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah. Yeah, that was all I had. Anything else y'all want to bring into the discussion of anything that stood out before we get into the moments that was all that?
Not that I can think of, bro. You had some really good questions, man. Shout out to you.
Yeah, great question.
They were really good.
Right on. Yeah, just really get that appetizer. That was like the sampler at Applebee's right there. You get some wings, get some tortilla chips, some spinach dip, get a little bit of everything right there. All right. Well, I throw the ball. I'm sure we probably all got this, but Ash, you can start us off. What's your first moment that was all that in Jingle All The Way?
I got the beginning. I mean, it came out the gate where Jamie is watching. I don't know if this is a show or a commercial where it has all of the figures, Turbo Man. I can't remember all the other names, but I have that first scene.
Booster.
Yeah. Where they're all out there and it's already showing you how Turbo Man is the superhero. He is the savior. So I just, it kind of took you into why he wants this toy so bad.
Mhm.
These are the things he's capable of. He's pretty much unstoppable, unbeatable. So I had that opening scene just out the gate.
You as well, Mia? That same kind of.
Yep, I have the opening scene where you kind of get okay, this is gonna be the thing.
Mhm.
And it's Turbo Man, the TV show, and then it's in it, and then it comes out and transitions into Jamie watching it, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah. And it was foreshadowing. Did y'all notice that? That everything that happened in the show is exactly what happened at the end.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous. I said that is brilliant writing. Like that's why I feel like this is a perfect movie. Like, and no bias at all. I just feel like it's a perfect movie for the genre. You know what I mean? It fit everything for the time period. But anyway, I'll speak to that more at the end. But yeah, I got that too. But I know we got going right into opening up at the there's some stuff I just know y'all got for some reason because it's so y'all want to get into the scene where Howard is, they're having a Christmas party. Howard is still locking in his last few deals, and he's supposed to make it to Jamie's, what do we call it, belt color celebration? I didn't know what to name it, but
karate ceremony, something like
karate
that.
ceremony, something like that.
They kept calling it karate practice. It was like a belt ceremony.
Belt ceremony. Okay, so we get all y'all can react and give y'all whatever y'all want, but just laying that scene out. Howard is on the phone. The secretary told him like, "Hey, you're gonna be late." And then she hits her with the, "You said that 30 minutes ago." Humor is already in effect. Like, he's like, and then Liz calls and he's like, "Hey, Howard, where are you? I'm on my way." And then he's like, "You're my number one customer." And they're like, ah. So he ends up, he thought he was gonna make it. Guy thought he was gonna swerve over.
So hard.
It is so hard. See, we have bloopers in real time.
Yeah.
It's educational.
Hey, it's so hard.
Nah, but it is really. But yeah, pretty much he doesn't make it, and then we get to the house, and you can all elaborate all in that. But I just wanted to kind of lay that part. So, did y'all have that as y'all seen before? I'm assuming. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Okay, I throw it in your court first, Mia. What did you gather from that?
So I was basically had that scene, and again, like I always analyze like how we're introduced to the character, and again, as with many of our films and a lot of 90s films, it's very tropey that it's the workaholic father not making it, not showing up to what he's supposed to, and you instantly get introduced to the fact that Howard doesn't show up. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows this about him too. It's just a fact of life with Howard. He's a workaholic. He's not going to show up. Nobody really expects him to, even though his son really wants him to. Mm-hmm. And he is a sweet talking promise breaker. He tells everybody, "You're my number one customer." Even his wife. What? And then after all this, you know what time that belt ceremony is. The fact that you even brought your ass in there, bro, while they're cleaning up, the lights are off. You knew you could have turned around and went home.
Man, Ash.
Yeah, Mia pretty much hit it on the nose. The workaholic. I'm gonna be there. You're not gonna be there. I don't even know what he does for work. What is it like? What type of job
that's what I was trying to figure out. Does he sell mattresses or something?
It was some sort of sales with like furniture, beds, something.
I thought it was something like that. Yeah, like furniture.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, you know what time this ceremony is. You know what I mean? And then this is very important because he's moving up in his belt rank. So it's like, bro, you should have been there, So yeah, I had that, and of course him thinking he gonna bypass traffic, like he just, bro, you just riding like, yeah, I'm finna. No, you're not. Even the cop is waiting too. You think you finna? Nah, he pulled him over real quick. Mm-hmm. Of course he pisses him off, makes you get out and do all this stuff like you know what I mean. It's an alphabet backwards. You're gonna be even later at this point.
Oh yeah.
And again, you don't have a cell phone, so what you gonna do?
Yeah. Dang, a world without cell. Oh,
yeah, man.
Ah, man, I'm feeling so nostalgic right now. All the things y'all said, but at the actual ceremony, my man Ted getting his flex off. You know what I'm saying? Oh, like the neighbors, like, "Hey Ted, hey Ted, thank you for fixing my, and the way Ted, like the way Ted looks, he has this look like quietly, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna let her do the talking for me. Then he turns over and looks at Liz like, "You heard that? You know what I'm saying? You heard that? This could be you, but you playing."
What did he say? He got the right tools for it or something?
Yeah.
Something
crazy. She was like, "Can you come over?" Because I think one person complimented him, and then another one was like, "Hey, you got the right tools or something." Then that's where it was like past the line where he's like, "Oh yeah,
Ted out here, hey,
repair man." So just hilarious. Like I'm gonna be acknowledging Ted through the whole thing because he's a funny dude. Because while Howard has the ego that he has to drive in the lane that he drove, that's an ego thing to think that you're the one person that's going to get this off, like we see all the time in traffic. Ted has audacity, and it's just an interesting thing when people have that level of audacity, and you're standing on your belief. I'm going hard, so I speak more to that. But Uh, the actress that plays Liz, do y'all think she resembled Jennifer Aniston? No, I kind of thought so.
She resembles somebody.
You know who? That's Tom Hanks' wife.
Okay.
Liz is?
Shout out to Tom.
Okay.
Wife to Tom Hanks, mother to the Chet Hanks.
And shout out to Chet.
Wow.
Hey, shout out to Culture Garden. They just did You've Got Mail. So shout out to them, man. The big cousins.
Out here.
But yeah, and then just the policeman, man. Just again, this movie's written perfectly because we got so many, like Mia said, the tropes, but we got these continually humor things that keep coming back, and it keeps working. Again, we make up, we break up, we make up and break up when we get the introduction of Myron and everything. So they're working all of these comedic things that keep working through the whole movie. So
I think them continuing to bring back Officer Hummel is so funny. It gets funnier and funnier every time.
Yeah. Every time I see him, I'm like, oh my gosh, bro, are you kidding me?
License and registration, please. That's like it's so and we'll move on. I throw the ball in your court, Mia, for the next scene. But I mean, I guess we're probably getting into the scene when his dad came home. But like, just the movie is so cartoony, but it's not overly cartoony where it's not rooted in reality, and that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
That's what kind of makes this timeless. I think that it's like the jokes are not so far 90s that it still is not funny today. You know, a lot of movies we look back like, they doing too much now that we look at it. This is not that. This is still kind of like, okay, I get it. You know, so Mia, what's your next thing? What's your next moment that you got?
Of course, I have Howard coming home and Liz he's telling Liz everything that happened. You know, I got a speeding ticket, blah, blah, blah. She's like, you don't tell me, tell your son. He goes up there and Jamie is just not on his shit at all. He don't want to hear it. Just so done with his dad breaking promises. And of course, Howard is trying to get back in there, trying to make him laugh, trying to figure like, you know what? Okay, I messed up. I know I did. Like, how can I make it up to you? Then, of course, I want the Turbo Man action figure with jetpack and the 5 different phrases. It's turbo time. And so you see how excited he is about it. But I don't even think at this point that I had realized that it was the day before Christmas Eve. And he's like telling his dad what he wants until you get to, he's telling Liz like, oh, we were bonding and he was telling me about the turbo guy. She's like, Turbo Man, did you get the doll? I told you to get it 2 weeks ago. And of course he lies. And she's like, good, because it's probably impossible to find at this point. So he's laying awake all night because it's like,
You saw his eyes.
Yes, the classic. I love that. Like,
yeah.
And he's just so, again, detached from his home life that he isn't, like, he didn't even realize that his wife asked him to do this 2 weeks ago. And now here you are.
Yeah. You got that too, Ash?
Yep, I have that as well. But I have him coming home and Ted is putting up the lights on the crib before he even go in, like, bruh, hey, Howster, got all these nicknames and everything. Like, bro, we are not cool with each other. Like, yeah, you're first of all, the house is huge. So you really taking the time to put lights on another man's crib is diabolical. So that's one. And then, oh man, you missed the karate thing. Don't worry, I got it on tape. You know what I'm saying? Like, you making it like we had a blast without you, so don't even worry about it. You feel me? Like, it's just insane. You are not the father, Ted. Let's be clear.
Man, listen.
But yeah, other than that, everything that Mia had said, of course, Jamie's not going for nothing you're doing. Like, you trying everything, it's not working. But just that was such a special moment. It's like, Dad, you say that all the time and you never show up. Like, that was just, that struck my heart core because it's like, you never want to disappoint your kids. That is a terrible feeling. But yeah, so everything Let me say it with my little touch on it.
No, that's good. The Ted thing is, I mean, you talk about really, really wanting this woman. Like it's cold outside, and like you said, how big the house. Like, and Ted is playing the long game. He really think like, yo, I got motion. You know, he's playing the long game. That's why when he tried to bring his game correct towards the end. Oh, this is ample opportunity now. Like she's really over him right now. So this is, that's when he started. He closed in on what he felt he was building this whole time. It probably started off smaller than this before it finally got to this level. That's probably why Liz is so comfortable with him, because it's been this gradual thing. Oh, don't worry, I'll pick Jamie up too. The boys, I'll take the boys over. It started off small and it just built towards where we're at. You know what I mean? This is why he starts to get this audacity. And I think Ted is so into her because she's the one woman that don't really want him.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's usually how it goes.
That's usually how it goes. There's a thrill, there's a desire in this, that forbidden. You know what I mean? So I think he definitely that. But yeah, I had that too. But I'll go kind of into the morning, of it. So again, Howard is so lost, bruh. Like he was supposed to get the doll 2 weeks ago, and he didn't even remember the parade. Like, Dad, come on, you supposed to the parade. You got to go to the parade. So it's like when you are last minute and you don't do something, everything becomes a lot now. Now I feel like it's the pressure of the world on you. Like anytime you got something to do and you're supposed to already have done it, and then you got something on top of that, I feel like the weight of the world. So, man, listen. So he has to pretty much say, hey, I got to go get the DOLL. And pretty much she was like, oh, okay. And I still kind of thought this was a little inaccurate, to me with Liz. Like she knows what Howard be on, and to think that like, oh, he's got to go and get the doll. Like, I don't know. It just felt like, a little inaccurate on how she holds his feet to the fire. I felt like she was just kind of I don't know. That's how it felt to me in that moment. I was just like, I feel like she would have challenged him a little more, but yeah, just that. And then of course him going out, getting in the car, and then, the deer coming out and Ted meeting him at the car. I'm tying this all together in that morning. And he's like, oh, what are you going to do with Blitzen once the holiday season is over? I was looking at this family of deers down in Minnetonka. I figured I'd let them be free. Like, you just got all the answers.
Right.
Oh, Ted, going to get dolls last minute. Like, oh, Ted, bro, hilarious. But yeah, that's what I got. It's just that whole setup is like, this is nuts. This is crazy work to get up in the morning and think you're like, he's so unaware he don't even realize the level of the Turbo Man doll. So man, so he said, I'm just gonna roll down the street and grab one. Like, yeah, okay. So Ash, what do you have next for your moments that was all that?
You saying after what you just said, or
no, it could be that if you have that too, just tapping into.
Yeah, I had that too. He pops up early, try to get out there and get it done. Talking about he left it at work, and you got to remember, bro, his son already said he didn't come to the parade the year before that or the year before that. So this would have been his third parade he's missed anyway. So clearly that's not on your calendar. You know what I'm saying? But pretty much everything you had, just Ted popping up again at the wrong time, but at the right time for Liz. Like he's just always in their business.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, you're always around. Like that's just insane. But you pretty much covered everything on that scene there. So
you got that too, Mia?
Oh, so I had that, but mostly just I thought like Liz would have believed like he left it at the office because he probably, like I was thinking Ted probably not Ted, Howard probably spends so much time at the office that he does things like on his lunch break, takes things back to the office. Like he maneuvers from there. But I just said that Howard trying to go get the doll on Christmas Eve is just like crazy work. Like
it should be under the tree.
Like,
like
okay.
the fact, like what had you gotten then? Like before this point, what are the gifts that you got Didn't get the one thing that your wife asked you to get 2 weeks ago. Like, what have you gotten? What he got up under that tree?
All right, I was about to go into a Seinfeld reference when Kramer was asking George, "Do you got any prospects?" No. Do you have any things on the horizon? No. Do you have anything you look forward to in the morning? Reading the paper, like anyway, y'all know for Seinfeld fans. But all right, well, since you have that, what's the next moment that was all that you have, Mia?
Oh, for me, I have him showing up at the toy store, meeting Myron for the first time, and you get to see instantly that Myron is crazy, but like in the most hilariously endearing way. Like he's that person, like you ever been out and you meet somebody who just starts telling you their life story instantly. Like you ain't saying nothing but hi. Like, oh, you like strawberries? Yeah. My sister went like just starts telling you everything, like going into it instantly. And like we get introduced and instantly he's just gonna be
Mm-hmm.
either a problem or he was going to be a great character.
Mm-hmm.
He ends up being a little bit of both. But then also seeing how packed it was at the store, all those how they like basically rushed the store as soon as they opened, and it was just chaos, complete and total chaos instantly. And of course, no Turbo Man doll to be found, so much so that the store workers were laughing in his face. Like, yeah, you thought you were going to come in here and get what on Christmas Eve? You're crazy.
It's like the biggest doll ever.
Yeah, they was going crazy.
Listen, I would have been hot. Like, hold up, bro. Don't be laughing in my face. I know I'm a dumbass right now, but I don't need everybody laughing that I'm a dumbass right now. Like,
had to ruffle his feathers a little bit, wrinkle his collar.
Yeah.
Man.
You checked them real quick. Like, all right now.
Yeah, like,
hey,
where's your...
you laughing a little hard, ain't you, bro?
Yeah.
In the Martin voice.
Mm-hmm.
But I had the same.
Okay,
yeah, just the introduction of Myron. Very high strung. You choking out a lady. No one's like, even like Howard, you didn't even pull him off or nothing. Just out of like, this is a woman that he's choking out, bro. Like nobody stopped him. He's very high strung. He's clearly overworked, underpaid. He's not getting any buns. It's very clear. So he's frustrated. And now I got to come out here and get this toy for my son. Because he probably had no off days. You know what I mean? Everybody, well, Amazon, I was going to say, but clearly this is back then. But the mail is just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he ain't had time to get out there and get the toy either. But so yeah, the introduction of Myron was funny.
He gonna tell that lady, you shouldn't wear fur.
Right.
The furs probably will protect her neck, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got that too. But dear Santa, can you send a bike and a slinky? No, your father's been laid off.
Yeah, he was not. He was hot.
Like, why are you? Look, like Sinbad could have been the Grinch, bro. If they did the Grinch earlier, Sinbad probably would have killed the Grinch, bro.
Oh,
you too, Barnaby Jones. Like he could have definitely been the Grinch in the '90s if they did it. Like, yeah, man. But like, if any, he said he took a college semester of psychology.
He did. Yeah, listen, he was funny.
He need therapy to the highest degree. Like this guy, and we're gonna get to a later scene that really showcases that. Oh my goodness. I said, yo, he is super unstable. Like I was like, man, I don't know if that was what he was going for, but man, Myron, boy, you need to talk to somebody. For real, for real. Okay. The next one that I have is the mom is preparing the cookies for the boys. And Ted steps in. And it isn't a big scene, obviously, but it's still just very much a funny, like on how, you know, he being smooth. Go ahead, I got it. Put the cookies on for 12 to 15 minutes. You know, even the voice he's doing is so like under your nerve. I got it, Liz. Put the cookies in for 12 to 15 minutes and get the boys. You know, go ahead. You go take a shower. And he's like, the way he grabs that damn apron off of her. He is taking so much pleasure in sniffing her hairspray right now. Like, bro, like is here for all of it. I'm in the house now. This man is Joe Goldberg right now. Like, and he, and he does that, and it's just this funny thing where he burns his fingers, like, pipe down, like, he does that whole thing. I feel like that's like the real Ted, and I think there's like I'm not trying to be deep, but I feel like there's like kind of a symbolism of like your hands don't belong in that cookie jar. You know what I mean? That's why you burned your finger. You know what I mean? I feel like that was like, I don't know if that was intentional, but I felt like it was very ironic. Like, you have no business trying to get these cookies. So, yeah,
you burn your finger, you hit your elbow, anything.
Yeah.
You are so hot.
Yeah, if anything else is going on, why you hurt yourself? You hit your foot on that bed.
Yeah, he was hot.
Hey, quiet down,
bro. That was so funny.
He was all good. Grabbing the apron off. Oh, no problems. I got it, Liz.
Had that side.
Yeah. he couldn't smooth his way through that, boy. That must have really burned his man. Got the hot grits on the head, boy. Man. Shout out to Ted. Who is it? Ash, is it on you?
Yeah, it's on me, man.
Yeah, he was so bad, dude. So bad, bro. Man.
He was so hot.
Yeah.
Me can go.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Go ahead, Mia. She said I can't even just go.
No, so I was gonna say, so after the initial scene with him offering to help with the cookies, you see the next scene, which is they couldn't find the doll, but they are told that there's a new shipment of Turbo Man dolls at another store. So everybody's trying to rush out. And so Myron's telling Howard, we should be a team. Like, we should work together. And Howard's just like, nah, I'm cool. Like, you're a nice guy, but I just got to go my own way. But of course, once again, Howard does some BS. He backs into that police bike. And whose is it? Officer Humble. He broke my little mirror. And then you see Myron riding past, like, is there a problem, officer? And it's like, oh, see, you should have worked with my boy Myron, because now look at you.
Yeah, is that when Myron hopped in his car and he rolled out or whatever, and he was like,
hopped in his mail truck. Be out there in your full mailman uniform is crazy on Christmas Eve with the mail bag and everything. Like, what are you doing? Are you supposed to be working right now?
Right.
This mail is not getting delivered right now.
Because he definitely had mail in there.
Oh, man. It's like, bro, I'm like, wait a minute, is this your route? Like, I'm like, bro, what are you doing is you working today? Like, what? Like, you have the whole day off, you drinking liquor and coffee, and like what are you doing?
You got the truck, got the bag, got the uniform on. You supposed to be at work.
Yeah, that's crazy. Crazy. Okay, Ash, what about you? What's next on your list?
What's next? So I had that too. Let me see.
I'm so sorry. I forgot to mention. Your wife's cookies are delicious.
He was
egging it on. I'm sorry. That was a part of that scene I didn't get to mention. Like, bro, your wife, like, he egging it on crazy. She's in the shower. You want me to go check? Like, man. All right, that's it. I'm sorry. That's all.
No, that was a good point. I forgot about that too. Okay, sorry, I lost my spot. Because I had what Mia just said. Okay, so then they get to the store that is supposed to have the new shipment. And then I guess they're gonna pull a number. Is it a number on the balls?
The color.
And then obviously Oh, the color. Okay, so they bum rushing the store associates, and then they just like screw it, throw it up in the air, and now everybody trying to get a ball, and it just he gets Howard gets trampled, right? He jumps up, you know what I mean, try to catch it. Both of them do. Everybody falls down, and then I keep wanting to say Sinbad, Myron, he gets a ball, and then while Howard's on the ground, he's like, he has two. So now he get the stampede towards his way, and now he's just chasing this one ball all around the mall. Like, first of all, this ball is not bouncing this much. But the fact that he hopping over everything, trying to get this one ball was hilarious. Because again, with him being so big in this physical comedy aspect, it just makes it even funnier. Because a lot of times you don't think like big swole dudes got speed like that, or it can be a little agile. So I thought that was a good scene. Um, Little girl has the ball as it does its final drop, so he trying to get to her, jumping in the balls, looking crazy.
Man.
And moms, come in, whack, smack him with the purse, and thinking like he trying to do something weird.
You grabbed
And
my
'cause
child's face.
exactly all
That's-
he did. That's right.
Like,
So yeah, you trying to make her spit the ball out, mom's whacking you, then all the moms come in just whacking him over there. Like they think he's a pervert. Whack, whack, get him out of here, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And so he's over it at this point. So yeah.
Again,
Really funny scene.
If you had just got this 2 weeks ago, like look at the list you're going, bro.
Man.
You're grabbing random children trying to get a lottery ball to get a doll that may not even be able to get it today.
It's crazy.
Like he's not getting that doll today. Like that wasn't going to happen based on this set. So that's good. I got Howard meets the Santa for the plug on the Turbo Man dolls that have been bootlegged, and of course they go through the whole segment, and then the elf that helps he take a picture with the newspaper. This was taken today, and it seemed like a legitimate lick. So he's they locking in, and they pretty much take him to the spot, and so he's asking questions, and the Santa is like, he's like, what are you, Dan Rather? What is it, 60 Minutes? What are you, the question king? Chill.
Right. Like I don't have a right to know where I'm going. Like, first of all, you are strangers in my car.
Like it was so unhinged because the Santa was like trying to really at ease. Like, bro, this is an illegal operation. I'm asking questions. He's like, what is this? Dan Rather, what is it, 60 Minutes? What are you, the question king? Chill. Bro, you're in my car. I'm not chilling, bro. Like, oh, man. Anyway, so that whole scene, him getting in there, and there's a bunch of Santa Clauses, and then they break into a song, and it's like, Howard's reaction is my reaction, because I'm like, okay, y'all not really about to do this. Like, okay, y'all playing, okay, I get it. But they're like into it, and they really sing the little song. And actually they killed it, of course. Like the harmony was like amazing. But like, so he ends up getting the doll, and he sells him a Spanish doll, Turbo Man doll, for $300. And that whole thing, it falls apart and everything. And so it's broken and it speaks Spanish, bro. I could not imagine if he didn't check that and got home with that. Listen to me. And then it start falling apart. Like you look worse than not getting it. You brought a bootleg home. And then of course, like the whole scene of him fighting again, you're having fun because he's kind of starting to have fun again. I'm like, bro, Howard, you got a job to do, bro. And he's having fun. He's fighting the Santas, and shout out to the Big Show. He pops up. I'm going to deck your halls, bub. And, right. And that whole thing and him faking with the being undercover cop and all, a detective or whatever, that whole scene is just, again, some more action. We get calm, then action, and calm action. So this movie just does that for me the whole time. So I really love that scene because it's just funny the whole way through. So yeah. Mia G.
So I have to just shout out, like, first, shout out to little sis and that bowl cut she had because that was crazy.
Mm.
Um,
I didn't know that was a girl.
Me neither. I was like, oh, well, he was like,
Me
hey,
neither.
girl. Okay, sis, I see you.
I
But,
see, sis.
but,
Sis.
but also, shout out to Danny Woodburn. He's the one who plays the elf. He was the man in the 90s. He was also a Seinfeld alumni.
I love him in Seinfeld.
Because I left him out of the notable cast because he was kind of like down on the bill.
Hmm.
But shout out to him because he's funny as hell too.
Yeah, he is.
Um, so I did have like Santa Claus crime ring thing, but you basically hit all that and it was all good. So the next one I have is when Ted is out there with all the kids in the neighborhood and he has the reindeer.
Mhm.
And Johnny says, like, oh, I named him Ted after my dad. So, Jamie's like, oh, your dad is great. I wish my dad would do stuff like that. It was like, he never used to do stuff like this until him and my mom got divorced. Maybe your parents should split up. It was like, oh, oh. So poor little Jamie, his little feelings were hurt. And then it goes into the scene where um Howard calls home to speak with Liz and Jamie answers and basically just lets him have it. You never do
Mm.
you never do what you say you're gonna do. You never keep your promises because, Howard's had a day. Understandably, he's had a day. He wants to talk to Liz. Jamie's not giving up that phone.
Hmm.
Like, where are you? You supposed to be here. We about to go to this parade. And
Hmm.
how like I don't want to hear nothing else about Turbo Man.
Hmm.
I don't want to hear another word about
Mhm.
Turbo Man, but rightfully so.
Hmm.
Jamie has to remind him, like, listen, you don't show up, you don't keep your promises, and you never do what you say you're going to do. Click.
Yeah.
Now, realistically, I don't usually cape for little kids going off on their parents, but in this case,
Yeah.
Howard really had it coming. He's dropping the ball. Is no pun intended.
Hmm. The movie does a great job of dropping you in the middle of something, but feeling like you know these people. Like you feel like you get the sense that Howard is always like this, and this has been going on for a long time. You get the sense of that, like with those moments. That's why I feel like we feel like we normally wouldn't condone this behavior from the kids, or when you get home and the kid just goes upstairs while I'm talking to you, like hold up, we kind of condone because like okay, you are doing the most as a father. You know what I mean? So it feels like we know this guy Howard and Liz, Ted, Jamie, we really get a sense of we could visualize what they were like before. So moments like that, like you said, I that's where I kind of I kind of get the child in that moment. You're putting crazy stress on the child for real, like So
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I had that in my notes. Like I said, this is for a father to make promises and break them is terrible. I mean, anybody, any parent, but just with that father son type of bond, like, bro, first thing a lot of them is teach the boys, like, be a man of your word. So obviously, this is a continuation of you not being a man of your word and making promises and continuing to break them. So yeah, he was warranted in this moment. Like, dude. And again, it just pulls on my heartstrings, just based on my personal experiences. Like, that is such a touchy thing. And like, again, how we're just trying to tell Liz what's up,
hmm.
but Jamie's not giving up that phone. Like, he trying to tell you everything we supposed to be doing, and she's out there petting Ted. What? He don't even know what he talking about. But
Mhm.
so yeah, everything Mia echoed. So
All right, well, what's your next scene?
what do I have after that? Mhm. Is this the part where? Sorry, got a lot of notes. um, I have Myron and Howard talking in the diner.
Yeah, that's what I
I
wrote
have
down.
that next. Then of course they're just chopping it up, and Howard is feeling bad for snapping on Jamie. He was like he realized that he was in the wrong as far as like he didn't do anything. He trying to ask where you at. You know what I mean? So that was really where he was coming from. And just being a kid like that, we want to go as a family. I want to do this. And then the radio comes on and they're mentioning how there's a chance to win a Turbo Man. And then, of course, they go at it again, Myron. And this is my thing. You talk about you want to team up. Half the time, there's only one doll available. There's no teaming up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I told the judge I couldn't budge. It was him or me. Shout out to Lil Wayne.
Shout out to Weezy.
Like, there's no teams. Like, and of course, Myron again. You know what I mean? Is this where he sprayed her with the pepper spray? Well, he got in the phone booth. He's calling the radio. Howard is. He's shunning Myron out. Trying to think of all the reindeer names.
Right.
And so yeah, it's just another physical scene. Like this movie is filled with physical comedy, and it just is so good. I was so happy watching this movie. I was just like, man, just happy. But yeah, just that whole scene of them going back and forth trying to get to, well, then Howard goes to the radio station, of course. And the radio host is like, this dude is a madman. Like, bro kicked the door in. Like, that was crazy. He like, they'll hit 911 quick.
Bro.
Like, hey, I won. I'm here. He's like,
he's
what?
like, hey, there's a guy at my door. Help me!
Boom, kick the door.
Navigated so quick.
Hey, in there. Yeah. I won. Like, and then of course, Myron shows up. So yeah, I have that whole scene just, and I can go on, but I don't want to, overdo it. With
you got that too, Mia?
I do. I had the diner scene going into the radio station scene, but specifically about the diner, like that, just hearing what Byron was saying about like his dad and, how they get this one moment to prove that they're not screw ups as fathers and they screw it up. And then seeing little Jamie in little USPS uniform drinking the beer was hilarious. Like, and seeing Howard's face, like, oh no, ain't no way. I got to figure something out because I can't have my son turn it out like this. And then Myron, like, of course, they find out about the radio station. They get there. Myron, this fool, gonna pull a box out of his mailbag, talking about, I got a homemade explosive device. Like, and who shows up? Officer Hummel.
This is a busy day for this guy, boy. He's everywhere. Golly.
On call out here.
Man.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm an officer of the law. Yeah, I got that same thing the one time a year, but I can still hear it now. Where's Johnny? Oh, here, Roger that. He's going through the whole thing. But yeah, this is just one of those one scenes again. You just see how much Myron really needs therapy. He needs some help. He needs to really talk to somebody because he's so far gone. And then like when they get there, for one, again, Howard don't get it because he's like, no, I it's just a doll. It's just a doll. And you think he's going to get it. Like, no, it's me. Like like Martin said, it's me. Like I'm the, but he still don't get it. He's like, it's got to be somewhere. So he's still, that's how he shows that he's still naive. He don't get it. You know what I mean? He just wants me to show up. You're still thinking about a doll, but like, yeah, Myron gets there. And like there's a moment where Myron is talking and he's talking about how people laughing at him, and then literally the guy with the ponytail laughs at him. Like it's just I'm not laughing. No, I was not laughing. Like how are you gonna be laughing with your life being threatened? Like that's how much of a joke Myron is to people. You're the guy, you got a bomb in your hand and I'm scared for my life and I'm laughing at you. Like it was such a subtle thing, man, but they find out that it wasn't a bomb. I let you get more into it as they find out it wasn't a bomb. Then, of course, the police will come and he pulls the same act again. What else you wanted to say about that scene?
Yeah, pretty much covered it. Yeah, I'm on the part where he pulls out that second package, to the cops saying the same spiel. Hey, I got a bomb. Put the guns down. They put the guns down and everything. Howard gets up out of there. He drops the box. He gets out of there. and then this one actually ends up being a bomb. It's crazy. Crazy work. He said,
Sick.
I was on the bomb squad. I know how to handle this. He's shaking it again, shaking it up. So sure of how to, diffuse the situation, literally. But
Mm-hmm.
and of course Myron, he's Cap. He didn't know it was a bomb. So the fact that it was, he was like, this town is sick. That was actually wrapped up to give to somebody.
Yeah.
What is going on
Yeah.
here?
Like his conspiracy may not be that far off, bro.
Right. That's insane.
He might be right the whole
Um,
time.
yeah. But I just had that little part, and then I have where Ted is back at the crib again.
Mm. Okay, Mia, what's your next thing?
So I had that too. I had Ted once again at the house, try to put the star up. And this is when Howard, like, he's defeated, you know. But going back to the radio station scene with the bomb, I just have to point out how this is the most 90s family friendly thing ever.
Oh
Because
man.
it's like the thing, even with like Home Alone, with all of the booby traps, how you get the scene, you don't see the bomb go off, but then they go back and Officer Hummel's just standing there with his like soot in his face and his hair blown.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, bomb just went off in his hands, but he's perfectly fine. It's like such a 90s family friendly movie thing where it's like you said, cartoonish, like Roadrunner and
Yes.
Wile E. Coyote, something
Yes.
tremendous can happen, but he's gonna be fine. But I
His
just had
face is perfectly normal later. Like,
perfectly fine, just a little soot. But going back to Ted being a habitual line stepper, why are you putting the star up on my tree?
yeah.
Who told you to do that? Liz ain't tell you to do that. You just in here doing stuff.
This could be us, what you playing.
Just in here doing
Right.
shit.
That's what he
Man.
Quit touching stuff.
Yes. Quit touching stuff.
Too familiar. Too familiar.
And I think it's a case of like Liz being oblivious. Like, have you ever noticed, like, you know, if somebody likes your man or your woman, but they don't necessarily see it, but you could see like Howard saw it the whole time, but Liz
Yeah.
is probably just like, that's just
It's
Ted,
Ted.
you
Right.
know. But
Yeah.
he's like constantly.
You know what it is? Liz probably never even looked at him that way at all. Like he's nowhere near the same type of man as Howard. You know what I mean? They're just not like the same in physical stature or personality. Like, so she may have not even. I didn't even really notice you really like that. Like you were doing this. Like I you know, oh, you so silly. Like it's that. It's
Right.
one of them type of things. Like she's not even looking at Ted like, oh, you looking at me like work. Like I'm. You know, she's just like, oh, you silly. Like I don't think she even remote because she's not even attracted. Like I don't feel like there was any remote like Ted. Dude, you're just the neighbor to me. Like she's looking at them like y'all going for this. You know, like kind of like. So I just think she never really looked at it like that until that last scene. I guess that's why it almost seemed like he thought they were building towards something, but she was like completely like, oh, like the whole time, like. uh You say you had that scene too, Ashley. What did you want to add something to that, or do you want to go to your next scene?
Go to my next. That was pretty much what Mia had said. Next one I have is Howard sneaking into Ted's house.
Oh man,
It's nestled safely under our tree.
under our tree.
Ah, my boy got one. I forgot. So yeah, he breaks in the crib, going to steal the toy from under the tree. And I'm so glad that he realized, like, what am I doing? Like, okay, if you giving this to Jamie, then Ted's son is not having it. You know what I mean? You're stealing from a kid. So, like, let's not, this is going too far. You know what I mean? You're going to have to just deal with the wrath. Like, hey, Jamie, I couldn't get the toy, whatever. Like, this is not the way. So he tries to sneak it back in the crib.
Man.
And then this dang on reindeer that Ted, I believe, has trained. When you see Howard, it's demon time. He had to train this
like
reindeer.
put
Yeah,
the red
like
on.
he was too aggressive. Like every time Howard is around. He's like, he must don't like you. Like, yeah, because you told
He's
him
never
not
acted
to.
like this. Oh yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So he tries to, he dealing with the reindeer, trying to shake him up to get the toy back under the tree. So obviously the house is in shambles now. That what is that? That was a statue or something that
Mm-hmm.
ended up going into the fire, and he kicks it out the window, and the jig is up. You know what I mean?
Oh
You're caught.
man, super caught. You almost
So
burned this man's house down.
right. Like, and then you still had the gift in your hand though. Like, bro, drop the gift. Like,
Right, right.
I would have just tossed it where I was and I'm out. Like, you doing too much hand holding over here. Like, drop the
Yeah,
gift
yeah.
and let's get up out of here. But yeah, so the jig is up. It gets called. Obviously now, Liz is fully aware that you've dropped the ball yet again, and it looks like you're trying to steal gifts from the neighbor. And so yeah, that whole scene, and of course Ted is eating it up,
Mm-hmm.
eating it up.
Mm-mm-mm. Ted, can you take me to the parade?
Exactly.
No. See,
Can you
so you
drive
do.
us?
So you do know. No, I'm just playing.
Look at you.
Aha. Aha. You know, don't you? Yeah. I don't have anything else. I'm at the parade, so I don't know if y'all have anything left before that.
Nope, mine is next is going to the parade too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And like that whole
That
sequence.
whole thing, yeah. So pretty much that last scene of the movie, well, not the last scene, but second to last, but the climactic part of the movie, he's trying to get back, and he ends up making it to the parade. And he ends up seeing that Ted is trying to make some moves on Liz, and he sees what's his name, Officer
Officer Hummel.
Hummel, Officer. He runs into Officer Hummel with hot coffee in his hands, and he knocks him down on accident. The hot coffee goes up and burns his hands, but it's so funny. They zoom in. Why do they zoom in like this old? They zoom in on it like some old Western film, and like the level of how mad he must be. Like that man get up, burning hands, wrapped up and all. I'm getting this guy today. And he's chasing him, everything, runs into the bus, burning hands, gets up again. This must be the Terminator movie. That's what this is. That he's the metal thing that's still running, right? Trying to chase him down. And he ends up getting away, and they end up thinking he's the backup guy for the Turbo Man. They end up dressing him in the suit. He gets on the the float, and they end up having a battle between MYRON and Howard in the suit, the costumes, and it gets real crazy when Jamie gets involved, and eventually things work out. And of course, I will fill in the blanks here. And the reveal is that he is Turbo Man. So whoever wants to react first, however, I mean, I got some things to say about it too, by any means.
Come on, Ash.
I was gonna say after you. I mean, pretty much all that. Like, you kind of obviously you covered everything. Just Ted making his final move on Liz, like the non-alcoholic eggnog, and you need a shoulder to cry on, or like he's not good enough for you. Howard bashing at this point, going fully forward, and she's in shock more than anything. Like, you really thought, you know what I mean, that just because my husband is dropping the ball, that I'm really finna go with you? No, like I'm not even if I wasn't with Howard, it wouldn't be with you. And yeah, so she pushes him off, throws the eggnog.
Is this Jody?
Right, what?
That's
Hey
good.
man, this is crazy. But yeah, so um like bro said, I mean everything, the parade, they doing with the fighting, they think this is the script. Clearly they're off script. You know what I mean? This is like real life fighting going on. Jamie climbs up the tree with the toy in his backpack. MYRON's right behind him on his heels, which was insane. Like
This is
we're taking
insane.
this way left right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, it's got
Like,
dark.
so I have some things, but yeah. So Turbo Man Howard, he's like, use your, Jamie knows all the tricks to the suit. So he telling him to fly. He flying all around the city looking like Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. And can't control that mug and ends up saving Jamie and Jamie still ends up giving Myron the doll. Like, here you go. And he's like, wow, my son really like this. He was just shocked. Sorry about that tension up there on the tree. Tension. I was finna say so. See, I remember, but we finna die. What are you talking about?
Attempted
But
murder, dude. Like, what the?
right. I have the real Turbo Man at home. Oh, that scene was so nice. I had a Denzel glory tear on that.
Oh
I
yeah,
have
it came out.
a celebratory tear, just one drop, on the right eye. And yeah, I have this thing, like I get teary-eyed on triumphant moments in movies. I don't know where it stems from. Like, bro knows this, but when it's something that's just triumphant, I get emotional.
You're
So
such
yeah.
a hopeful person. Like hope
Yeah, I think that's what
really,
it is. I'd be so
really
happy.
feeds your soul.
I'm a
It
huge
does.
crier. So,
You cried.
oh man, I'm a huge, like, I cry on everything. I
So
cry
it's
on
not weird that it's for
no.
like happy moments.
But no, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I cry about it. I'm a movie crier. I cry at everything. I went to see Wicked again this weekend. I cried again.
All over again.
She did say she gonna watch it
But like the
twice.
fact of crying, knowing it's gonna happen again, and it hits the same.
I'm gonna go see it again, and I'm gonna cry again.
Wow, still hit though. See, man. Well, what did you want to say about this scene, Midgie, while we're talking about it?
So yeah, everything you guys said. Ted tried it, but Liz, of course, was not going for it. I was gonna say that all of his problems would have been solved if he would have just stole that toy from Ted. But
Yeah.
But Johnny was actually a sweet little boy, and I think that was one of the things I liked about this movie is usually when the dad is an asshole, they make the kid a little joke too. But Johnny was actually really sweet, and he was a real good friend to Jamie.
Yeah.
And you could tell that they really liked each other. They were like best friends. Um, in the way that kids are, because even when Howard was up there being Turbo Man and he was pointing to Jamie, it was like, no, he's pointing at me. No, he's pointing at me. But that's just kids.
Yeah.
I think that everything you guys said summed it up. It's just such a wholesome movie. It was just so wholesome. The ending, him giving the toy to Myron, because even though he's crazy as a Bessie bug, you know that he needs the toy, for his own reasons. He has a strained or relationship with his son too, and he needs it. And Howard was able to show up for his son in that way that he didn't even need the toy because it wasn't really about the toy.
Yeah.
It was about you doing for me what you said you were going to do and showing up. And I think that it was just a really wonderful little way to wrap up a Christmas classic. It was great.
Yeah. Lastly, I would say in that scene is just how crazy was it that the boys wanted to get out of the car and Liz was just okay with like, all right, don't go far. I was like, hey, whoa. This is how we are in the 90s for real. They don't have cell phones. We don't got Apple trackers
you
on
gotta save
them.
that, bro.
Huh?
Gotta save that for the part, man.
For what part?
The things that movies could have done better.
Oh, well, I'm not saying it's a negative thing. I'm saying like just looking at it from a nostalgic standpoint in the scene, I'm like, I mean, things were like that though. Like you had whole trust in society and your children in the world to know that like, okay, they're gonna be all right. Yeah, all right. Well, y'all go there. We're gonna park the whip. Stay right here, and we'll come back and trust y'all gonna stay right there. Like in a crowd of people, you know what I mean? And it just blew my mind. Like, wow, we really lived in that world. Sometimes watching these movies, you forget you existed, and it's like otherworldly. Sometimes when you watch until you realize, like, I lived in this world. I recall things like this, and so it's fun to see. And yeah, just and then lastly for me, just when he gets the suit on, and again that's the thing that you get with Howard while he's a mess up, obviously. you get the sense that he's a fun dad because he keeps doing little fun stuff like, is this how you wear the belt? And so even then he's like, they playing the music, dun, 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 then he's starting to get used to it. Now he's flexing, he's saluting people. He's like, I could get used to this. And I'm like, he's killing it. Then the crowd is getting into it. And I was just happy to see. I just love seeing him have fun. It's something about grown-ups being childish, I guess, so to speak, but like just being able to have a moment to like enjoy themselves, like in a childlike way, like an innocent way. And I love seeing Howard through all that stress and his car getting messed up, everything he went through, trying to make up for last minute, things, just having fun up there until, of course, he says, Jamie. And again, I love the, what I'm saying, my guy had to get it off though. Like, let's be clear. She's like, Howard, yeah. Yeah, we can take this to the crib. Don't worry about it. We can take this to the crib. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, next October, I got you. But that whole thing, and then officer, we could use some men like you on the force. And then turns around, he salutes him, and oh man, like it's so good. And so we get all of that, just wonderful. I mean, it's just ridiculously crazy. And then I think a little biblical nod to when he runs through he's flying and he flies through the window and they're praying over their food. It kind of feels like the upper room, so to speak, like came like a Russian wind kind of thing, probably tying into another like Christmas thing, spiritual thing. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then, and MYRON, let's be clear, he's going to prison. Like, he's going to prison. Like, he's giving that doll away. No, on the other side, it's definitely a lot of hand on the glass action. This is not. Y'all let him get away with the choking the woman earlier. He ain't doing that now. He's in prison. That doll ain't. That's the least. That doll, at least your problems. If you call this being a father, oh, don't worry about it, bro. Hey, you are not
going to prison.
Yeah, you going to jail now. You going to jail now. But yeah, they're just the funniest cliffhanger. You get to the end of the movie, and Liz is hugging. It was like, wow, that was just beautiful. The lengths you would go for our son to realize just showing your love like you had to set up the whole time. Now I wonder what you got me, and it's like the same Zoom thing. It's like and they get us because we didn't even think about that the whole movie. Mm-hmm. We think obviously Howard got her covered, but Howard is such a mess up. He just so lost, and get that as a cliffhanger. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so, man, it was. So I'm throw the ball in your court before we get into like the characters. Our next segment, Ash. What's your overall thoughts, finishing and concluding this movie? What does this movie leave you feeling in this time of year, in this season, and being a long time since you've watched this film?
And this isn't our moral of the story.
No.
Oh, okay.
Just your last thoughts on,
Oh, okay. I thought it was great. It still had the same effect on me as an adult as it did when I was a child. Very happy movie, action packed. It's a nonstop watch. I had no distractions. I wasn't drawn away from it. Like, I was completely locked in. Very fitting for the holiday season of Christmas. I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was nice to lighten it up a little bit, compared to our last two. Mm-hmm. Just a ball of nostalgia for sure. And I really enjoyed it. It was a good watch.
What say you, Mia?
Yeah, like I said, it's just so wholesome. And it didn't take itself too seriously. It was funny. It got the message across really well without having to beat you over the head with it. It's just one of those classic holiday films that's always going to be a good time anytime you watch it. And I'm glad that I got to watch it again because I hadn't seen it in a long time and it was entertaining. It was just purely an entertaining film.
Yeah. For all those things I said, I mean, this is my movie. This is a staple in our household, and I watch it every year, and I'm probably gonna watch it again closer to Christmas, just because. Like, I mean, this is the, it makes me want to. Where's my candy cane? Where's my hot chocolate? You know what I'm saying? Like, where's my mint chocolate? Just whatever gives me that festive feeling. Where's my Santa hat? Just this is just one of those fun, non-serious things, and you just rooting the whole time, kind of like, come on. And it's lighthearted, and it's like I said, the point is made strongly without being overly preachy, and we get the gist of it, and it worked out, and it feels good. You know, it was a Hail Mary to be able to get it off, but he got it off at the last minute, and you know, we're happy that it works out, because it ain't just that Howard got a win, even though he got a lot to learn, but the son got a win, you know, and even the mother. So it was just enjoyable watch, even enjoyable to do this. I've been waiting for years to be able to have a platform to talk about my favorite Christmas movie. So what an enjoyable experience to be able to do it with my two wonderful co-hosts.
Thank you.
Mia G, the character that you relate to the most or identify with.
This may come as a shock, but I'm gonna say MYRON. Only because I'm a conspiracy theorist with a government job. Like, he wasn't wrong about capitalism and the toy companies using advertising to get us to buy a whole bunch of stuff for Christmas.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was just crazy. But no, I really think because there wasn't a whole lot that, like, of the other characters that I really saw myself in. These were a bunch of crazy over the top, like, situations and personalities. And I had to take what I could get. Let's go.
Really, really interesting. Wow. Shout out to MYRON. Shout out to Sinbad. Glad
Yes,
you're doing
indeed.
well, brother. Thank you for giving us just wonderful things in our childhood. Ash, what about you? Character that you relate to or identify with?
I had to go with Liz on this one. So I had being a mother, and again, just over my life experiences, being a mother and the sole provider and having to be the one it starts with and ends with, can be a lot of pressure. And so I pride myself on not promising things if I can't deliver. So this is just, because kids really, really hold your word, So I always tell Anthony, like, maybe we can do this or whatever. And I always make him tell me what maybe means. And he'd say maybe yes and maybe no. I'm like, okay, good. So making sure it's a clear understanding that, if I know we can do it, I will let him know, yes, we're going to do it. Or if it's a no, or maybe it's like, and he doesn't like press me on it or hold me to a certain standard. You know what I mean? So when it came to Liz, again, just the letdowns of Howard still having to find a way to pick up the slack. So, yeah, so I relate to Liz on this.
Okay. For me, it's the kids on this. And I would say this kid definitely reminds me of my nephew. I don't know if you've seen that watching it, but like that little scene is like, it has this is battery and it's sold separately, not included. Like, if that didn't sound like Anthony, bro, I said, oh my God, that sounds like my nephew like a few years ago when, like when you sent the little clip.
Yeah.
Did you feel like that when you was listening? Like, did it remind you of him at all?
I mean, I didn't think about it until you just said it. When he's into something, yeah, he's definitely giving you all the stats about it, trying to convince me to like buy it. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, interesting.
Like just how he was like when he was a little younger, and when they not necessarily at their cool. Now they're at the cool phase. Now they, but like before where they're like really into it. Like I said, man, this reminds me of my nephew so much. But for me, the kids, man, like it's just a lot of us grew up in similar situations of like, the challenges of what the relationship is between your parents. You get what was his friend's name? Jamie's friend? I didn't catch it. Johnny. So Johnny, we get Johnny, everything is all good because his dad is being everything in the moment. You know what I mean? Like, he said things got better when my dad, and her and my mom separated. Maybe your parents should divorce too, and that's all good in that moment, but who knows what the challenges could be later. Some of us go through those things. You're like, okay, this is cool. I got 2 Thanksgivings to go to, 2 Christmases to go to, but you never know the effects of it, and then him going through, but your dad is not around like that ever, and he's never keeping his word. They are together, but things are not really, so I thought about the kids. I mean, and then of course just being let down. Not saying that like that was the duration of my childhood growing up, being let down all the time. But you do understand, like I just looked at more of the parents' relationship part, and that's the part that I connected the most with the kids. So I definitely identify with the kids on this one. Ash, what's your favorite song that was played in this movie?
The movie was so good, I almost forgot about the music of it. I'm like,
Oh yeah,
oh
yeah,
man.
yeah.
I had "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree." Rocking around the Christmas tree. Yeah, it was between that and another one, but I ended up going with that.
Okay. They cut us short at all with the classics. Mia
Hmm.
G, she is our musical correspondent. So why are you looking like that?
Because
You
I
forgot?
didn't. I was like, well, the music wasn't like popping to me. Like it was just like Christmas carols. I didn't pick.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I do love rocking around the Christmas tree.
Yeah,
Love paying attention to the music.
it was background. It wasn't like at the forefront. I do
Right.
understand. For me, I got chestnuts roasting on an open
That was my second.
fire. Like I love all of that. Like I love all that Christmas music, bro. Oh my god. It don't even have to be like, it don't matter what type of genre of it. Like I just love it in the spirit, because there's no segment for it, so I'll just speak to it here. But I just love the idea that, this season makes you feel hopeful for things. It's not always about the gifts or the monetary things. It's just this hopefulness of joy amongst family and moments that are going to be created. You're hoping something memorable and exciting is going to happen. It doesn't have to be this big mega thing. It's just something exciting. It's like, man, we laughed so hard about this. I'm gonna remember this for years. Whatever it is. And so hearing the music really puts that there. Like, man, it makes me hopeful. So I'm gonna throw the ball in your court, Mia G. Things you would have changed about the movie, or the movie didn't get right.
I didn't really have much here because, like I said, this movie just doesn't take itself very seriously. So anything that was unrealistic, I feel like was supposed to be unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't supposed to be this very literal film.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and there wasn't anything that I feel like I could have done without. And I feel like there wasn't really anything that stood out to me like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know about that.
Yeah. Okay. Ash.
Um, I had letting the kids out at the parade. Uh, Come on, man. Like, it's just, what are we
The
doing here?
90s,
That's still
I
crazy
know,
though.
but
For the '90s, a
I mean,
parade
the
is
parade got about, who knows,
thousands at least.
thousands, and
I thought I
you
had
just
it.
pop up where the kids are. Like, it wasn't no section A, row 6. Like, we just
Yeah.
out here. Stop it. Like, you gotta stop
Find
it.
you.
We'll find you. Yeah.
Yeah, like, we'll find you. No, you're not. There's no Find My, no Apple. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's crazy.
And right
And
there,
then
don't move.
I just had when the bomb went off with the cop. Like, yeah, I'd be dead.
Taking the
Like,
comedy too far.
again, it works for the movie, so I'm not saying it probably was supposed to be this way, but if I had to, you're all dead. And yeah, with letting
Yeah.
the kids just out the whip, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It would have been a different movie. Just
Yeah.
True.
Right.
This is
It's
true.
like,
It worked,
that's true.
but
At least
I can't let it slide.
I can't let it slide. Yeah. Keep it a bean. Like I said earlier about Liz just kind of being so easy going about him saying, "Oh, I got to go and get on Christmas Eve." She's like, "Howard, it's Christmas Eve," and then she just kind of let it off. Took like, "Oh, okay." Like I felt like it's like, she seemed like she would have held him a little more accountable. And then the other thing is when they did the little visual where Myron becomes Jamie and Jamie's drinking the liquor, I felt like it was like, it wasn't. It didn't work for me. I felt like it would have been better if it was still Myron talking, but it was Jamie's voice. I don't think you needed the visual of Jamie in the USPS uniform drinking it looks off every time I watch the film. I'm like, it's not really funny and it don't drive the point. It just feels off every time. Not to say that there's not a funny way to do this, because people find funny ways to utilize children in like more adult themes. So I'm not saying that's not possible. It just, this part is just like that. If you're gonna use that, that should have drove him back to the parade at that point, to me. But instead, it was just like, it's just a doll. It's got to be somewhere. It's like it still didn't drive the point of bringing him back. You know what I mean? So it just drove him to go harder to get the doll. I'm like, so it's out. It's just misplaced to me. They should have just not put that in there. Every time I watch it, it's real cringe for me, like high level cringe. But you know, Ash, what's the
Yes,
moral?
sir.
What's the moral of the story for you?
Moral of the story for me is show up for your kids. Be present. Again, kind of similar to our previous episode. Make sure you're making time for your family, no matter what. Like, we all have adult obligations and responsibilities, but it's all about having a balance. And also, just don't be last minute with things. You know what I mean? Be proactive versus reactive.
Big G.
Listen, no, I also had show up and don't lose sight of what's really important. We do, again, just like with the previous film, we get so caught up in the day to day, it's easy to lose sight of those really important things, which is, making sure that you're there, you're present for the people you love and care about,
Yeah.
you know.
Y'all hit it on the nose, so I'll take a slightly different direction. And it's funny, I wasn't gonna go with this, but now that y'all said that, and it's something I was being a grumpy old man earlier. It was something I seen McDonald's. It's like, oh, the McRib is back, and you talk about being pissed for no reason. Like I said, how y'all gonna bring the McRib back when y'all had this whole grand tour of this is the last of the McRib tour to send off, and then y'all bring it back like, oh, the McRib is back. I said, bruh, nobody keeps their word. Y'all corporations is just lying. So I said that to say, bro, your word gotta mean something. We live in a generation, people just say anything and take no accountability. Like you say whatever you want, and then when somebody calls you on it, it's like, oh, I didn't say that. Oh, I didn't mean that. Or I meant different. Or maybe I should have said that. Or maybe I meant that. Like your word means something. If you said you're gonna get that Turbo Man dog, you get it. If you said you're gonna be at the parade, you do it. If you're not gonna do it, don't say you're gonna do it. Like your word gotta mean. So I really am very intentional with my words when I'm speaking to my wife or when I'm speaking to my kids or when I'm at work. I'm very intentional with what I can and what I can't do. Your words mean something. You know what I'm saying? In the words of what Scarface, it's like, bro, I got is my balls and my word. So it's like that's what it's got to be. You can't just be some, just chatting it up and it don't mean nothing. Like, no, my word means stuff. So when I tell somebody something, they believe me because my word is my word. You know what I'm saying? So that's the moral of the story for me. Yeah. And that is our episode, man, of Jingle All the Way. What a wonderful experience. In my opinion, this is a perfect movie. This and Lion King and Toy Story, I think so far. These are probably 3 perfect movies that I think I think perfect. Like I do. I genuinely think perfect right now that we've reviewed. I think these are 3 perfect movies.
Solid.
So that was my pick this week. Now we're still in our holiday themed rotation. But y'all, soon enough, we will reveal to y'all what will be our next rotation of films. So when we let y'all know, it's going to be a fun and exciting time. And I can't wait till we get to that point. But we're not there yet. We're still in the holiday spirit. So it's on Ash this week. So Ash, what you got for us? Again, we do not talk about this before we get on air. We do not text about this. So when I bring up a movie, Mia bring up a movie, or Ash, we have not talked to each other. So this is not fake surprise. This is genuinely surprise. So we have no idea what Ash is about to say. Well, the edge of our seats is y'all. So Ash.
It's on me. Okay, since we are in our holiday spirit and we are amongst our family at this time, I'll stay in the 90s, but we're gonna take it back, a little earlier in the 90s. But the famous quote, "You filthy animal,"
Oh
taking
man.
it back to Home Alone 1.
Let's go. Yes.
Let's
Yes.
go.
We got to do that.
Of course.
Of
Yeah.
course.
What brought you to that? Like, I'm obviously you may have thought about a twist, may have thought another way, and then you say, you know what, I want to go with that. How did you get there real quick before we get out of here?
Well, because, once we switch our genre, I was like, I cannot let this space go by without doing Home Alone. Like it's mandatory at this point. We all grew up on this, I'm sure, and just like the replay value of it, like this is a staple for me, just like Jingle All The Way. So I'm like, I had to, I'm getting my second Christmas pick off. It has to be Home Alone for sure. One, let's be clear.
Yeah, one. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, man.
Okay, man. I'm excited. You excited about this, Mia?
Absolutely. Home Alone is, I don't think there's a child born in the 90s or after who doesn't love Home Alone.
I never heard nobody hate it. Never.
Me neither.
This might be my perfect one. If this was your perfect one, I think Home Alone might be my perfect one.
Okay. I look at this. This is Mia crazy. Mia, her faces be hilarious. Oh man. I look at this like how you go from Lion King to Toy Story. It's like just seamless.
Mm-hmm.
It would be the other way around naturally. It would be Home Alone to me, then Jingle All The Way, but it's just like a seamless transition. So I'm excited about it. I'm glad again. We ain't holding nothing out. We getting the classics right out the way. You know what I'm saying? So we'll be doing Home Alone, the first movie. So y'all go check that out. Get prepared. Y'all got a week to watch it, and y'all can react and get back with us when we review that film. But in the meantime, the lights are coming on. It looks like a little bit of snow is dropping, so we definitely need to get back in the house. Mama told us to be home before the lights come on, so that's what we got to do. But if y'all want to reach out to us, y'all can reach out to us, childishgrownups3@gmail.com. Y'all can reach out to us on Instagram, Childish Grownups. Y'all can hit us up on YouTube. Man, leave an Apple review that will help people find out about a podcast. Don't be selfish. Don't be selfish. You want other people to enjoy this so you can talk to your friends about the podcast, talk to them about the films. So y'all want them to be in on the loop, man. Y'all share this, please, so that it'll be able to expand this and y'all will be a true Stoop Kid with us as we continue to talk about these classic films that we grew up on. So we thank y'all for tuning in. We ain't in the happy holidays yet, but in the meantime, peace out.